For the 1,400 square foot variance is that the way the house is laid out now, if you look at the drawings, the current in-law that's on there is on the easy side of the house. So we have a colonial with a two-car garage underneath. And so the current addition attaches to a 16-foot breezeway that goes straight into the addition, 26 by 26 square. We did have to have a variance because we were too close to the property line, but we have great neighbors, so it was an easy one. So to do this again, it has to go essentially off the other side of the house, where the garage is, the chimney, the furnace, all that sort of stuff. So if we build straight off the side of the house, we lose garage, we potentially have to relocate the chimney, the heating system. So there will be significant infrastructure that would need to be done to the existing residence to tie it in. We want it to look like part of the original property. We do not want it to look like it's a different part of the property. We're not building condos, we're not building apartments, we're building space for our family. And so we want it to look as a part of the original structure. So one builder we talked to said one idea would be to build a room off the kitchen, which is on the garage and into the garage of the house, build a connecting room. From there you could build a hallway that would then tie into the addition. It would also allow you to angle the addition back away from the property line so that you don't encroach on the property line. You won't need a variance for that. And we had the land to do it. So we had it drawn up, so 340 square feet of this addition is the room and the hallway that would tie the new addition in, and the new addition is just over 1,100 square feet. So we realize it's still a larger footprint, but part of our thought process was moving forward, we didn't want to jump through hoops to make it ADA certified, but if we needed more room down the road to put hospital bed in, or wheelchairs, or walkers, or God forbid anything like that, having rooms that were a little larger would make that easier for us, that's all. And so we got the drawings done, went to the town, went back and forth with the town a number of times trying to get all the proper documentation in, and just kept kind of hitting stumbling blocks. And finally, Rod Palmer, thank God, stepped up and said, you know, I can help. Let me talk to your architects, I'll talk to your builder. And he said, you understand that the footprint is too large, right? I have to deny it. And I said, I do understand that, but there's a reason that we're doing it this way. We learned the experiment with my parents. What we learned is that we don't need security, but you need privacy. You don't need security because we're all family, but you need to be able to enter the building and enter your living quarters without having to walk through somebody else's living quarters. My mother-in-law should not have to go out on a Saturday morning to grocery shop and see me sitting on the couch in my boxer shorts eating Cheerios watching Sports Center, right? So this, having that separation allowed us to come together or to not come together. And that was really what made it work in the long run. So we really wanted this setup to be similar to that. The current layout allows for that without us having to do a lot of infrastructure change to the current dwelling. So Rod stepped in and he worked with our architect and helped us. He said, look, you have to have a fire retardant wall. We didn't know that. So all that stuff he helped us to get. He said, look, it'll pass on everything except the square footage. That's it. You're going to have to go before the Zoning Board of Appeals. And I said, okay, I understand. But this is really kind of the best way for us to do it. And I'm hoping that if we present our case to the board, that they'll understand that this is why we're doing it. And we're not building condos, we're not building apartments, we're not renting out dwellings. We're trying to help take care of our folks the way they took care of us when we were young and when we needed it. And so that's the biggest part of it. We also have three of our four kids still live in the southeastern Massachusetts area, and they're in their 20s, and they're all on their own and doing their own thing and doing well. But you know, in the real estate market around here now, like the kids in that age can't buy a house. And so if at some point we have space available and they need a place to land to be able to save money to buy a house or to go back to school or anything, that we would have the availability to do that for them. So we try to look at it in a present day stamp, we try to look at it in a future stamp, and how do we make it work now and sort of going forward. One other thing that we learned along the way, which is, you know, a good and bad for us, is that where our septic sits in the back, it sits, I don't think, 12 or 14 feet off the foundation of the current dwelling. If we were allowed to put the extension room on the back to tie the addition in, we would then be less than 10 feet. The wall of the foundation of the structure would be less than 10 feet from the existing septic. We had the septic tested recently, passes Title V. And from what I understand, talking to people in town hall here in that department, they said with the addition, we technically wouldn't have to build a new septic. It would still meet criteria. But if we put the addition on, we would have to move the septic, which means we would have to put in a new one. So we would put in a new septic system. The one we have now is almost 30 years old, and if we were going to do it and have the yard dug up anyway and the machine there, we might as well put a new one in. So from an environmental standpoint, that's a plus. That's a positive. So that's really how we started from where we were. And I apologize for being so long-winded, but from where we started to where we are now and why we're looking for this variance. It's really to be able to create the environment that we need to create to be able to help and take care of our parents as they age. So we're hoping that you'll see it from that perspective, and hoping that can be taken into account when we decide about the variance for this particular project. So.
Thank you, Mr. Baston.
Certainly welcome.
Before I turn this over to the other members, I want to ask you a couple of questions about square footage. What is the square footage of the primary residence?
So I would have to have it in front of me. I know that it can't be more than a certain percentage, and the addition, is that what you're alluding to?
No, I'm talking about the current principal residence. Ballpark it for me.
Yeah, I don't know. What is, around what?
It was 24 or something.
Yeah,
About 2,400 square feet?
2,500 square feet.
The addition is about 7.
The addition with the hallway is just under 800 square feet, I believe. 740.
Well, the reason I ask this question is that we have to be precise with our decision, one way or the other. And the public hearing notice indicates that we have a 1,448 square foot accessory. Where does that number come from?
So that number comes from the actual living quarters are 1,100, just over 1,100 square feet. The room that would be added off the back of our current kitchen with a hallway that would connect to the new structure is 341 square feet.
341?
Yep.
Or 314?
If you want to. I think, I thought I checked it today. I thought it was maybe it's 314. I thought it was 341 when I did check it too. Sorry, that? Oh, so, okay. So, if you have them in the car or at home?
No.
Well, it's kind of far to get home to get it. So my apologies for not having the numbers exactly, but I believe, in fact, I can probably check.
I'm looking at your own statement.
Yep.
Mr. Baskin.
$25.81 on the original structure without the addition. So $25.81 on the original structure without the current in-law addition in Breezeway that's on there.
I observed that Area 58 came in a little bit late tonight, so I will say for the record that they are here and filming, and we're happy that they did come. 2581 for the square footage of the existing property. Is that true?
I believe that's just the original structure, right? That does not include the addition, the in-law addition and the square footage on that there? Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, I you know what, I would have brought the plans. I thought, Rod said he would be here tonight and he would have that stuff. So I should have brought it. My apologies. Let me see if I can find it for you while we talk.
You need a minute to go through the phone? We can do a quick suspension if you would like.
That would be great. I'll see if I can track those numbers down for you.
So we're going to go into recess for 5 minutes. That give you enough time?
Let's try that, yep.
So it's 7 o'clock now, 7:05. We'll be back. Thank you, everybody.
Says 6:30. That's why Area 58 was late, because that's what it says on the website.
No, I cast no aspersions on Area 58.
I'm just letting you know, that's why I emailed a little later too.
Okay.
I looked at 7 o'clock, so it's only 7 o'clock.
676 square foot there.
Thank you.
They say, we think it's 258.
We call this meeting back to order. It is now 7:05 PM, and Mr. Baston, you have some information for us on the square footage of the home, not the addition that you're petitioning for.
Right, correct. It appears it's 2,581 square feet.
Now, going on to the addition, the accessory dwelling unit that you want to construct, how many square feet is that?
The total is 1,448 square feet.
Are you counting the tie-in room?
Yes, I am.
Why?
But,
So it's 1,100.
so I thought we had to count the dining room, so.
Why did you think that?
I believe that when, it's a good question. I don't have a specific answer for it. I believe that when I got the report back from Rod that said it could not be approved because of the square footage, I just assumed that that additional room was tied into that total square footage.
Now, that room consists of a corridor
Yes.
and what else?
So that room would consist of it's an open room, sort of a sunroom type thing that has a corridor that leads to the addition that would have an exterior door that would enter into the corridor.
So that's sunroom, if you will,
Yeah.
which you get to through that corridor. Is that something that you expect your relative to be using?
No.
Is that a room that everybody will be using?
Yes, theoretically.
So not a room necessarily that's delegated or reserved specifically for your relative.
Correct.
So then the question becomes, and this is a rhetorical question for now, do we count that square footage as part of this proposal? That's it from me. Ladies and gentlemen.
If you don't mind. The original ADU, you are keeping that?
Sorry, the original.
The original ADU that you have currently on the property? That's staying? The one that your mother is in?
Oh, yes, that would stay, yeah.
Okay, so you're looking to add an additional ADU?
Yes,
Okay.
that's right, yeah.
And how big is the current ADU?
26 by 26.
What is that, square feet wise?
740.
It's about
740.
740 square feet.
That's all I have for right
And
now.
that's already been permitted, I take it?
It's done. It's been built for over a decade. So.
Oh, I do have one more, I'm sorry. Will there be a separate driveway for the new ADU?
No.
Okay. Okay, that's all I have for now.
Ms. Dahl.
I don't have any yet.
Mr. Barrington.
What is the height going to be?
Again, I would have to check it will not be, it will be less than the current structure. We have a Saltbox Colonial.
It's a single story.
Yeah, it's a single story. So there's an undercar garage that will be underneath the structure, backfilled, much like the Saltbox is with the undercar garage. And then it'll be a single story on top of that, ranch style.
Do you have plans already printed out?
Yeah,
or-
we do. We have a full set of architectural plans, like with all the detail, framing details, everything. So so my father just went to get them. I can have them for you in a few minutes if you want to see them, so.
I was going to ask the same question about whether or not that room that you're adding on behind your house was actually for the ADU, or that's more for your house.
Yeah, it's definitely more for our house. It will be open to our kitchen, so, and then the hallway is what will separate. The current ADU has a 16-foot hallway that has shared laundry in it between the two facilities, or the two homes, I guess, and residents, whatever. And so it would be the same kind of setup with this one. Like, it would be a hallway that would connect to it to allow for privacy, but not need for security, so.
Okay.
What else you got, Mr. Barrington? For now, you good?
Yep.
Mr. Poirier.
Well, most of the stuff has been taken up by other people, but I did notice that on the original application, you checked off appeal of the decision, but in the description of what they're looking for a special permit. So this is what we're looking at here, I'm assuming, right? That was not checked off on the original paperwork that you filled in, so.
Okay.
I mean, we understand that you're appealing the ruling, but
Right.
a special permit is what we're looking at to go above the 900. No, that's it. That's really all I had. Thank you.
Can I just ask to reiterate, is your family laundry going to be combined in that same hallway?
No.
That's-
No, they'll have their own laundry, independent laundry.
Is that hallway where their laundry will be, or?
No, it will be in the 1,100-foot structure that they built.
Okay.
But it's still not going to be taller than the original structure. That's what he's saying.
Ms. Cullum?
So one of the things that I noticed that was not mentioned in the denial was that this is a second ADU, and per our bylaws, you're only allowed one ADU on your property. So that's one concern I have. Is that something that has been revised by the state? Or is that stand?
Are you putting that question to me?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Where are you reading from in the bylaws?
So under 26, or 2262, letter F, only one accessory apartment may be created within a single-family house or lot. Page 12.
Was there any discussion of that when you went to the building commissioner's office?
No, none.
Ms. Cullum is correct in pointing this out. Were you aware of the presence of this particular
No,
bylaw?
it was not.
Who, if anyone, is living in that other ADU right now?
So, no, so right now, my in-laws are there because they sold their house in West Seneca, so they're there until we sort of figure all this out. But my mom actually comes and stays for the majority of the winter months, and then returns. So she's probably there from Christmas until March.
So this second ADU would be for whom
It would be
specifically?
for my wife's parents, my in-laws.
The new state law, which is very new, and became effective on February 2, says that accessory dwelling units are allowed by right in single-family zoning districts. Now, this is the case even though there may be local ordinances or bylaws that conflict with that. So we take our marching orders from the state in situations such as this. So if there's a conflict between what the state's saying and its law and what our local bylaw says, then the local bylaw does not compel us to follow it. But this is a different issue. You have an ADU now, and now you're asking for a second one. And the presentation that you made to this board, speaking just for myself, was a compelling one. But the question is, even with the change in state law, does this allow us or require us to go forward and ignore 2262 or 22...
Yes, you're correct.
2262 subparagraph F or not? So it's an unusual situation. Does anyone want to weigh in on this? Because I have a thought about this. Mr. Barrington is thinking, what's that thought? This is one that may require a legal opinion from town council. If you didn't already have an ADU, then we wouldn't be concerned about this. I mean, we'd be concerned about it, we'd have to vote on the merits, but now we're talking about a principal residence and not one but two ADUs. One of which, of course, is fully permitted, but now you're looking for a second at the same property.
Correct.
All for compelling and positive and benign reasons. When do you want to commence construction?
Yeah, as soon as we can. My in-laws have been in the current EDU for over a year now, and so my mom, when she came down, had to kind of stayed in the house with us when she was there, which is not optimal, and she sort of gave up her residence to allow them to be there for now. So we'd like to have the project done before winter of next year, so the sooner we can start on the project, the better.
Yeah, for me, the question is, are we allowed to override that particular provision in the town?
I understand.
The town bylaws. It says only, quoting now, word for word, only one accessory apartment may be created within a single-family house or house lot. That's pretty specific. That gives us little or no wiggle room. No wiggle room without the new state law, which may be your saving grace here. Town council might say, well, you can do what you want. Or town council may say, no.
And we're willing to work with the board and work with town council if there's input that could make this more attractive or more feasible, or we're certainly willing to listen to.
It's not about design.
Yeah, I understand, so.
It's about the number of accessory apartments.
Yeah, I understand.
And Ms. Cullum is correct to have brought this to your attention, because we all sat here, I think, positively impressed with the presentation and what it is that you folks want to do. But we are compelled to follow these bylaws. And as I've told many, many people in the past, over and over it seems, it's not what we think might be a good idea. It's what we are compelled to do under the law. And we know that the law isn't always fair and just, right?
Correct.
We're learning that, if we haven't learned it already. So as much as we might want to help you on a personal level, we need to get some guidance on a legal level. If it weren't for the fact that this new state law is less than 60 days old, I think we'd be able to reach a decision fairly quickly tonight. But that state law has probably not really even been interpreted by the courts yet. So we'll see whether this can be stretched or not.
Yeah, we certainly can't ask for more than that. We certainly can't ask for more than for you to consider our situation and our perspective on it, and what we're trying to do here and what our vision is for this project and why we've presented it the way that we have. So we certainly appreciate you taking the time even to consider it, given that the bylaws don't necessarily allow it to be feasible. We appreciate your time, and we appreciate you being thorough, and we respect that. So.
Well, I think your parents are lucky to have you, and I think yours are lucky to have you. I do, honestly.
Thank you.
And we'll see what we can do.
We can't ask for more than that. We appreciate it. So.
Ms. Dahl, anything further?
No, that was actually going to be my recommendation, was to seek advice from council, just because of where it's
Ms. Cullum,
unclear.
anything further? Mr. Barrington, anything further? Mr. Poirier?
Nope, all set.
So does someone want to make a motion to seek the opinion to town council on this request for a second ADU at this particular property?
I'll make that motion to seek guidance from town council on this issue.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And this will require, obviously, a continuance of this case.
Right.
We don't yet have an April date, but let's talk about that right now. We have one other case in the queue currently. I'm thinking maybe towards the end of April, because we have to allow time for notice and publication to go out on that other case.
So you're thinking like April 23rd?
Something like that?
Not me, can't do that one.
Well, you folks need to give me a date.
Can we bump it a day?
Well, I'm just asking for the people here. Would a Tuesday or a Thursday work, if you want to do it that week?
How about a Thursday?
Thursday?
The 24th?
Thursday would be good for me.
That works for me.
Yeah.
Most importantly, what about you?
I will be here. You tell me when I need to be here, and I will be here. So,
Well, we're going to be here at 6:30, and we'll make sure that there's no confusion about that the next time.
yeah, I will be here also then.
April 24th. And in the meantime, we will obtain an opinion to see if there is a legal end run, if you will, around this particular local provision. In view of the fact that you already have one fully permitted ADU on the property. If you didn't, as I said before, I think we'd be fine.
I understand. I understand.
While I have you, I do want to ask you this, getting around to asking this.
Please.
Do you have a separate entrance and exit for the proposed ADU?
I do.
And where is that?
So that entrance and exit is located in the hallway that connects the new structure to the room on the back of the house that will be added as.
So is there a doorway that faces the front of the house?
No, technically the addition is angled back away from the front side, from the roadside, so it wouldn't be visible from the street. So I will if they ask.
I think your property isn't really visible from the street
Yeah,
anyways, the
we're
house.
200 feet off the street.
Sit back quite a ways.
Unless you pass the end of the driveway and look quick, you can't see the house. So
Was there any question from the building inspector about the number of exits from that?
no.
Because I'm understanding, I thought it was supposed to be 2.
So there is a second exit from the. You're talking about from the new ADU.
From the, yes.
Yeah, there's a second exit from the new ADU. It's on the back. It leads to a porch, a deck.
I'm wondering if that hallway constitutes an actual exit because it doesn't go outside. I don't know the answer to that. I'm speaking out loud here.
Yeah, so the way it's designed now is the same way that it's designed in the current ADU, which is you exit the structure into a hallway that then has an exit door immediately to the outside.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be the same.
Oh,
the same
okay.
setup.
So there'll be something off of that sunroom, a way to get out?
Not even the sunroom, the hallway that connects the sunroom to the new addition, there'll be an exterior door, an
Got
exit
it.
door there. So.
Okay.
Now, I observe that your family member has brought some plans.
Yes,
Do you want to make those part of the record?
Sure, that would be great.
We have not seen them.
Okay, yeah, I'd be
Are
happy.
these your only copy?
We have another, we can get another copy if we need it, that's fine.
Well, you should keep your own copy at least for now.
Okay. We
And
certainly can, if it
when
helps.
you come back,
Yeah,
for historical reference, win, lose, or draw on the merits of this case, we should have copies of the
okay,
plans
fair enough.
so that we can see what you're
If
going to be
it's
doing.
helpful to have them in advance, you're welcome to have this set. I can get another set from the architect tomorrow.
Okay, we'll take them.
Okay, great, I'm happy to. Can I deliver them to you?
You may approach, yes. As we say, you may approach. Okay.
Peek over your shoulder.
This is it here.
That's the current.
Can you speak up? You can't hear.
So this is the addition.
Why don't you come on up and
Yeah,
give us
I'm
some
happy to help.
guidance on this?
Yep, understood.
So that's your hallway.
That's the hallway that would connect to the main street.
I'm looking at sheet A1 here as we reference this. Okay, and the question was what? From you guys, what was the question?
Where the entrance was, I guess.
So this is the original structure is here, the existing kitchen. This would be the sunroom that's built off of it. Here's the hallway that leads to the addition. Here's the exterior door.
Okay.
Is there another
there's
exterior
another
door?
one.
There's
Yeah.
another exterior door off the back side of the master.
Okay, that's what, yeah,
Okay.
that was the big question, where that was located, and obviously for safety reasons.
And the height of the peak of how high everything is in there as well.
Okay, this
Yeah,
is
so it should all be-
sheet EX1.
So
Tell us
this
what
is
we're looking
the
at
house.
here.
This is the original house structure. This is the current ADU that we have.
And you're building
We would be
over
building
here.
off of this
Off
side.
that back. Okay.
This is road side frontage. The road is on this side of the house. And so this is the side that we would be building off of the original structure. So the garage doors are here, chimney is here. And we would be building essentially a hallway that would come off here and then connect to the...
Okay.
There is an exit also out to the basement, obviously, because it would go into a basement to a two-car garage underneath.
Oh, okay.
And this is a third exit, technically, right, so...
Okay.
It's okay, this is what we need. Thank you.
I'll take a look at that, though.
Yeah,
Never mind.
we'll look. We're not opposed.
While you're here,
Now, what we're being shown is a picture of the existing house from the street. Okay.
From the driveway.
From the
street,
driveway
you can't
views?
see it from the street, yeah.
Okay.
And it's going over here.
Yes, that's correct.
You
Is
got
that
a, you got a shed in the
In the
back.
back gonna get, that's the one that's
So the shed
gonna
will
be
moved.
taken out and
It'll have to be
moved?
moved, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the existing ADU here on
No,
sheet.
this is the side of the main structure, the main house is what you're looking at here. This would be the new ADU.
Okay, this is sheet A2 I'm looking at.
so is this,
So this is the rear elevation of the new ADU. It's a screened-in porch. So
This is sheet A3 that we're now looking at.
rear of the new ADU, the original structure.
That's sheet A4.
Is it one floor?
Yes.
Okay. I missed that if that was in one of the pages, sorry.
Just storage up above or?
Yeah.
If
probably,
even.
Yeah, if there's room, there'd
If
be
there's
a
room.
crawl space or a small attic or something,
Okay.
if there's room.
So that's the connection.
Yeah, that's, I'm looking now at sheet A6.1, where we see the principal building and the proposed new build off the northwest side of the
I believe so.
property. Is that right?
Yeah. And so this actually is part of the new build. This would be the room off the back. The chimney is here, so we can't move any closer really. to
So
the
this is the room in the,
This would be the new room.
Hallway.
the Hallway that then connects to the new structure.
What's comprised of, what, I know, but what's in there? What's in that?
The ADU?
That one
Yeah.
here?
Yeah, so it's a full setup. It has a full kitchen, living room kind of shared with a small
Okay.
island, a bedroom,
Yeah.
and one bathroom. So.
in the new build, will it have a kitchen or not have a
Yes,
kitchen?
it will have a kitchen, yeah.
So you're going to have 3 kitchens in this
Yes,
property.
This is the original plot plan, actually, so before we built the original structure.
Okay. I'm now looking at the original plot plan, 2 pages. Thank you, Mr. Master. Thank you, Mr. Porritt. Can I ask you again, are you sure you can get your additional plans tomorrow? I don't want to take your only one.
If it's helpful, we want to do whatever we can to help, so we'll get
Well,
another
we don't,
set.
we don't need it tomorrow
Yep,
or
understood.
next week, so
Nor-
if
nor
you
do
want to
we.
hold on to it for a few days, you're more than welcome.
You can keep it, we'll get another set.
Thank you. Okay. So everybody understand what we're involved with here?
Yeah.
And that there are now 3 kitchens in this property, not 2. There will be 3. Okay. All right, so we've already had a motion, seconded and voted unanimously, if I recall, to seek legal opinion.
Yep.
And we have decided on the date of April 24th to continue this matter. And this is why I asked before we vote to accept that continued date, whether you have any sort of compelling interest in coming back before us in advance of April 24th for some reason, or is it okay to go until April 24th?
April 24th is fine.
So do I hear a motion to continue this case to April 24th for receipt of town council's opinion and renewal of the public hearing on this particular application?
So
I'd like
moved.
to, I'd like to make,
Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. Yes?
I
Do I
said
hear a
so
second?
moved.
second,
Okay, before we go to vote, is there anyone in the audience that'd like to be heard briefly on this?
Yes, please.
This is just on the continuance. Go ahead. Mr. Basson, you can stay there.
Thank you.
You can stay there.
Oh, I can, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to give a quick presentation, may be able to answer some questions that you've already had.
You mean ask him questions or ask us questions?
No, ask you guys questions and also give you information regarding this project.
Well, I'm not sure we'll take direct questions, but we certainly are prepared to listen to you with regard to whatever material you'd like to show us.
Okay.
So, Mr. Baston, I guess you can now withdraw briefly. And what would you like to say?
Okay, my name is Robert Belbin. I live at 26 Gate Street. So I just want to think that our bylaws also have 2-family and 3-family availability with a special permit in this town. So I just want to bring that up. With this new law coming in, the special permit granting authority will be the planning board, from what I've been told. In the past, entryways have not been included in the square footage of accessory apartment, and I have a couple of different there. Talk about that. Okay. Under Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 3, no zoning ordinance or bylaw shall regulate or restrict the interior of a single-family home. Just want to make that clear. And under the Ernie Bach case v. Edgartown, the court found that just by having 3 kitchens does not make it a 3-dwelling home. That's something you also should understand. Under Moore v. City of East Cleveland, the right to live as a family unit is protected under the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. Now, we got that underway. Next one is under 105 CMR 410. That was the minimum standards for fitness for human habitation in the state here, and it says that every entry door of a dwelling unit shall be capable of being secured against unlawful entry. If you do not have a locked door, it does not make it a dwelling unit. So if they didn't want to put a locked door between their living areas, it's not a dwelling unit, so therefore they don't need to have an accessory apartment. They just don't put a locked door. And same with the other ADU that they have there already. They could take that locked door off and say it's not a dwelling unit because there's no locked door in between it. All right, and these are the laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I didn't make these up, okay? It's also under the building code, under the 10th edition of building codes, where it says what type of locks you have to have. The next one is a case that came before here was Ed Fuller's, his property on Plymouth Street there. He had a house, he had a carriage house, a woodshed, and a walk-in entryway. He came before this board and asked for an accessory apartment to it. He said he was looking for 900 and something square feet. It was actually 1,200 square feet because they never included the quote woodshed part of the building in their square footage, which the total, if I remember correctly, I wrote it down somewhere here.
Excuse me,
switched things over.
when was this?
When was his done?
Yeah.
Have to look here. Addition was done in 2008 there. All right, and again, they put in the first floor was 860 square feet, was the first floor, and the second floor was 412 square feet, which totaled out 1,272 square feet. All right, and that's the Fuller house right in Lake and Green. They only asked for 900 and something, but they were approved anyways. They don't live there anymore. Family's super nice that lives there now. The zoning now for ADUs, and I requested that our bylaws say ADUs. Don't know if that's going to go to town meeting or not. But under the standards for the state, they came up with this model zoning here. It says for special permits for ADUs on a lot, more than one ADU on a lot in a single-family resident district which a protected ADU is already located shall require a special permit from the special permit granting authority that the additional ADU shall be classified as an ADU. So what this says, and it's number 4 here, all right, and this is on the state website. You can look under ADUs and ask for this model zoning. But they've already said if you already have one, you can get another one by just going ahead and filling out a special permit. So the legal advice is great. Hopefully KP Law does the right thing and says, okay, fine. But I think that since we already have 2-family and 3 families are allowed with a special permit, all right, I think we kind of can get around this whole thing and allow them to do that. I don't care whether they have it or not. They're building something for their family members. And that's something that we have to look at, is our family's growing. I mean, years and years, quick story, I went to Pennsylvania, and this family, Dutch family, came in, and they built into the hill a little house. It had the husband, the wife, the grandmother, and the grandfather, and 3 kids in a small little house. Then they build on a little bit more, all right, to cover everyone else. Then they built a little bit more. So they ended up having 3 or 4 families that got married and everything all in one house. All right, as long as this person that's building it falls within the setbacks of the town, all right, and they can have up to 30% build out in our bylaws of that lot. So I don't care what you do within that time, all right? So it really has to look at the sense that if they don't put locked doors, because you guys can turn around and say, you know what, if you don't put locked doors, it's not an accessory apartment. It's not. It's an addition to your house. And under the Bach decision, he had 3-level house over there in Gedgetown, okay? A 3-level. They lived on the top one, then they went to the next one. They had a kitchen there that they used for the family or whatever to get that. And then they had this other kitchen for huge gatherings on this property, because it's a huge property. The town of Gedgetown said, you have 3 kitchens, it's a 3-family home. Nope. They brought it to court. The court found that, no, just because you have 3 kitchens doesn't make it a 3-family home. So I just, bear in mind, families are growing. It's tough to live in a house nowadays. It's tough for kids to buy houses now. It's tough for senior citizens to live in houses and keep their homes. And we need to protect our family. And no matter if it's a 1-family, 2-family, or whatever, guess what? If you're all related by blood or marriage, it's family. And that's what we have to look at.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to pass this on to town council, who will render a, I'm sure, a fair, impartial, and informed decision based upon the new landscape that we have here, new within the last 60 days. And then we will come back on April 24th and see where we are with things. Fair? Does anyone else have anything that they
We
would
didn't
like to
vote,
say?
Steve.
I beg your pardon?
We didn't vote on the continuance.
I know,
Yeah.
not quite there
Okay.
yet, but someone is raising their hand and would like to
Sorry.
be heard.
Yep.
Yes, may I? My name is Albert Hingst, Hingst. I live at number 11 Pleasant Street. This family has been our neighbors from the beginning of time.
You can sit if you'd like.
Don't tell me that, I might
Sin-
never shut up.
Since the beginning of time is a long time ago.
Well, since they moved in. And they've been nothing but stellar people, okay? We live just to the east, we live at a number 11. I do not oppose, these people are fantastic neighbors. You could not ask for better neighbors than this family, I'm telling you. In my former work life, I went to many calls and had neighbor disputes that I had to separate people. This is not the case with this family. This family are fantastic. I cannot speak any negative things about this family. And the hardship that they're looking at is the Kohlers may be homeless if this tribunal does not see fit to give way. Where are they gonna go? What's gonna happen? And I'm worried about them. I'm worried about my neighbors, because they worry about me. We are very good neighbors. Now, you might say, well, you're prejudiced because you're such great neighbors. No, I'm very succinct. If I like you, I like you.
I
And I'm
don't think you're prejudiced at all.
Thank you. You're too kind, sir. You're too kind. We are blessed with this neighbor to our west and another neighbor to our east. You couldn't pick better neighbors. And I hope they never move. I hope as long as I live, I hope that never changes, because we got our own little slice of heaven there on Pleasant Street. It's a very pleasant place to live.
Thank you.
And that's the beauty of Carver, because it is pleasant. Thank you for your time, gentlemen, ladies, and I hope this goes through. Thank you.
You got yourself an excellent hype man.
I know.
I have to write a check or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Come up and sit and speak to the microphone so we can hear every word. And you want to identify yourself first.
I am Carrie Hingst. I'm a realtor in town, have been for 45 years that I've lived here. Been neighbors with them for a long time, sold them their house. I just want to point out, they have one driveway. Their house does not look like a add-on mess. It looks beautiful. Their addition, their accessory apartment they did, looks like a family room addition. It doesn't look like, it doesn't have separate anything. It kind of looks like part of the house, blends in, and it's good for the neighborhood. It looks nice. And I'm sure that, I haven't seen the plans, but I'm sure the plans on this one are gonna look nice. And part of, our own, there's no reason to not do this. They're gonna replace the septic system. We have bylaws put in place to protect the environment. They're gonna replace the septic system. There's no more people living in the house than there was when they were raising a bunch of teenagers. As we all know, I had teenagers that are now not teenagers, but, I went from my 2 kids to having 20 kids there all the time, so now there's 2 of us. And I'm sure they've done the same thing. There's 4 of them there, and there might be 5 of them there. But versus when there's no kids in the school system, there's just a multitude of reasons to do these kind of things, to bring people to town and make it comfortable for everybody. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else have anything further they'd like to say? To wrap up then, and before we take a final vote on the next hearing date, I have 2 things I want to say. One of which I've already said this evening. it is sometimes difficult for this board to make the decisions that it is compelled by law to make. I'm not implying anything here, other than to say that as much as we may like someone or think they're a wonderful neighbor, I have no doubt about that, we must follow the law, which, as I said before, is not always fair and just. We disagree with law that's passed locally, state, nationally. But if we are a nation of laws, we need to follow those. That doesn't mean to say that there isn't room for interpretation, especially in the face of a brand new law which probably has not yet been interpreted in any significant way by way of case law. We have to analogize, as Mr. Belbin suggested, to other cases that may or may not fit the circumstances in your particular situation. This is why we rely on guidance from town council and guidance from this one. So I just want everybody to hear this loud and clear, that it's not what we think of you or you or you. We're charged with following the law, wherever it may take us. And so we're going to see what we can do. We're going to go the extra yard in this case and seek an additional opinion. And we will follow that opinion in all likelihood, although I have to say, and I've said this before too, I don't always follow town council's opinion. Sometimes I disagree, and they know that. And we have productive conversations about our disagreements. But generally, we follow. The other thing I was going to tell you, I can't remember right now. But that's my heartfelt response to what I've heard this evening. This is not easy, this job up here. These zoning decisions are not easy. And we do come across these kinds of cases which present compelling circumstances. And we're certainly not interested in putting anybody out on the street. And I'm sure that you wouldn't allow that to happen anyway. But I agree that housing is an important issue these days. This is why our kids are moving back home, right? They can't afford to buy their own houses. They need to move back home and save money and aggravate their parents while they're doing that. I'm just teasing. But we all know that housing is a critical and important resource. And in this town, in short supply, for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is acreage size requirements and the tax base. Members, any follow-up observations?
No.
I would like to ask about the door situation, just for clarity. The existing ADU, does it have locked doors?
So it has a locked door from the outside, from the second exit, which is off the master bedroom. There's a locked door from the outside, but there's not a locked door on the inside.
So we have a motion and a second pending to continue this case to April 24th.
Yes,
Is that true?
that's correct.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So we'll see you back on April 24th and have some more discussions. And you keep your fingers crossed.
We will. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
Would you like a copy of that bylaw?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
He's going to look it up as soon as he goes
Yeah,
home.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Again, I appreciate your time. Thanks very much.
And students, do you have something for us to sign? Come on up.
what is it, 1 hour already? Yeah, 1 hour and a half.
Anybody can sign these things?
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Yep.
You going with an hour and a half?
What are we doing? Yeah, do 90 minutes?
Where do you go?
Okay.
Just down here?
So, this is what, a civics class?
US history.
U.S. history? Excellent.
And 1
Got a pen?
hour. Yeah, you're welcome.
Where'd you put this?
You're welcome.
To me, and then
Oh, right here?
signature. Oh, it's completed?
I'll steal it back, thank you.
What did we say, 90 minutes?
Yep.
What else you got?
You're welcome.
Just the name?
Yeah. On the other ones, we didn't do it.
Oh, you need
Oh, okay. So you signed twice?
You
You
sure,
signed
yeah.
twice?
No, that's a print.
No, I already messed it up.
Mine all looks the same.
I didn't,
Thank you.
I'll print on the
They
other
trust
one
you.
then.
This ought to be good, Marley. Thank you.
They can-
Reciprocating
they-
arrow.
They know where to find us, I'm sure.
326,
Or at least
right?
her.
You bet.
Thank
Here
you.
go, my friend, you bet.
Have a good night.
Ah, thank you.
Good night, everybody. All right. So, something else I was going to say, but now I forget what it was.
That's twice tonight.
I know. No, it's late. Well, while I'm thinking, does anyone have any new items
No,
that they'd like to discuss?
this other cases for next time?
Yeah, we have one case in the queue. That'll be for the next time. And I do recall now what it is that I wanted to bring up. In my role as Chief Administrative Officer of this board, I am charged with responsibility to manage and conduct these hearings. It is my considered judgment at this time to begin to hand off decision writing to each of you as cases proceed before us in the future. Now, I'll take care of tonight's notes and will eventually draft an opinion accordingly in April for this case, assuming that we get to a point where that case is concluded. But going forward, we have a new case in April, and I'm sure other cases that will be appearing after that on our docket. I don't see any reason to this point, given the number of years that all of us have served on this board, not to begin to hand off some of the decision writing. I will continue to edit the minutes and also assist with any questions and writing that needs to be done on new cases. But going forward, we're going to do a rotation. And in April, that new case, I ask Mr. Barrington, since he's sitting to the left, and we will go straight across as time passes, to take careful notes and be prepared to write the decision. Now, this may seem like a lot, but it really isn't, because we have a template by which we work, and you know what that is because it's the same format each time. And Ms. Mello, who's written a couple of decisions already, works off of that template. So any guidance that anybody might need going forward writing these decisions, and it'll only be one of you and no more than one decision per meeting. If there are 2 or 3 decisions, I'll write the other ones. But I want everybody to get used to the idea of writing these decisions. We don't want the board to become too chair-centric on these writing exercises, because I won't always be the chair. Right, Mr. Barrington?
Sure you will.
So, Mr. Barrington has graciously accepted the,
I didn't hear an acceptance, to be honest with you.
well, he's smiling.
He's sitting in my seat, so he should be here, and
So that one will be yours, and you now have the paperwork on that one to familiarize yourself.
yes.
And then after, in May, if we have a May meeting, it'll be Mr. Poirier, then on to you, Ms. Cullen.
Well,
and on
usually
to you,
Fran
Ms.
is
Dole.
Francis
here.
there, and then is
So
Joe. and
Fran
then
has
is
already
me.
done the duty a couple of times, so we're gonna just go straight across and then eventually get back to Fran. Again, I'll take the excess, I'll take the load if there's more than one decision to write per meeting. And I'll continue with the minutes and obviously give you some guidance on what you need to be thinking about as you draft these decisions. It's not rocket science. Mr. Poirier, would you like to switch off with Mr.
No,
Barrington next
we're
month?
in polite company. I'm just going to keep my comments to myself for the moment.
So that's the new policy, if you want to say it's new. You guys basically write these decisions anyway verbally during the course of these hearings. You know, you raise all the pertinent and cogent points. And it's just a matter of making sure that you mention those points in the evidence part of the decision. The rest of it is, you know, just repeating the public hearing notice and when and where everything has been published, and then what eventually the decision of the board might be. In any conditions, it's not. It takes some time, but it's not rocket science, as I said. And I have no doubt but that all of you are going to be great at this. No doubt. Fran, who's done it now a couple of times, did a good job on the first attempt and even a better job on the second attempt. So as you get used to it, it's not.
Practice.
Not hard.
Practice. Little practice. Yep.
Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Mr. Poirier, I know you have a busy retirement life.
I'll try to squeeze it in.
Thank you. And Ms. Cullum and Ms. Dahl, who are still working full-time like yours truly, are you okay with this?
We'll see when it comes my turn.
All right. So does anyone else have anything that they'd like to add? You can blame all this, by the way, on Mr. Barrington, who asked me about that April case, and that triggered what it was that I was trying to remember.
Oh, no.
Well, that's all right, Jim. All you did was stave off the inevitable. So.
Right.
Okay. So, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, Carver.